Serious, value-driven content gets millions of views. Fun, entertaining, trend-based content also gets millions of views. But which one of these actually builds trust when someone is making a seven-figure decision, let's say when buying real estate? To break this down properly, I'm joined by Ricky, a video editor and content strategist who's worked with many businesses to grow their following. And we're gonna look at two types of real estate agents. One that presents professionally and one that leans into entertainment. And interestingly, Ricky and I don't really agree on which strategy works the best.
Well, that's where I probably disagree. I think with personal brands, it's actually important to show what type of person.
While this breakdown focuses on real estate content, if you're a business owner that's using short form content to try to win more clients, then the same principles will apply to you. So let's start with our first video, which is the more classic professional approach.
For $4.2 million, you could own this architectural masterpiece in Brisbane. The home is perched on a hill and takes advantage of its leafy natural environment with massive voids like this one in the pool area and custom window frames. The kitchen is an absolute standout with black butt cabinetry and micro cement flooring. It's a perfect balance of hard and soft textures. I love this grassy courtyard space that gets plenty of natural light, and we come back and I'll show you one of the bedrooms in this home. There are 5 bedrooms in total, many with their own en-suites and walk-in robes like this. This is a great void that connects the two spaces and lets in an abundance of natural light. Up here in the master suite, it is massive, vaulted ceilings, a huge ensuite, dual vanity, and its own Juliet balcony. This property in Barton is for sale. Make sure you subscribe for more Brisbane property tours like this.
Yeah, wow. Okay, very good video. This is definitely one of the better ones we've seen. Why do I think it is better? It's because the voiceover creates a journey that makes us feel like we are actually with them. And then on top of that, the POV videography, which to be honest is quite common in real estate content anyway. But when you couple those two together, it makes a very powerful viewing experience. I think the guy has a good balance of showing features, but also giving some, let's call it color commentary, you know, the things that he liked. So for example, he says he liked the grass. He loves the beautiful view, all that kind of stuff. Makes a big difference with how you watch content like this. And it feels like I'm not being sold. It's kind of like, hey, there's this house that I want you guys to look at. What do you want to do from there is up to you.
Something really interesting that you mentioned is that he doesn't really give you any indication that you should buy the house. He's just showing you the house. Do you think there needs to be stronger CTA in this video?
At the end of this video, his CTA is subscribe for more to see other Brisbane properties. Clearly his content objective with this video, it's not designed to convert someone. It's designed to get people to, first of all, know about him and what type of properties that are on the market that they service. So then the question becomes, should he have a stronger CTA? So, I mean, let's be real, right? No one's buying a property off TikTok, Instagram, or YouTube in the DMs. Like, that's just not happening. So I think it's important to get them from A to B, subscribe, get more familiarity with him. And then once you're ready and you've made a big decision to purchase a property, he's going to come up at the forefront of your mind. When you go,
how about a phone number?
And let me think about that.
Because if we're going on a journey with him and we feel like we're there with him and we like his commentary, we like the way he's done the tour, wouldn't it make sense that now we would want to work with him? We want to call him, maybe for him to take us on another journey in person this time?
Yeah, I mean, look, you're right. Probably a phone number and some sort of subtle CTA that's not really salesy could be the option. My only concern is he has 914 subscribers, so it's probably a newer channel or a channel that's trying to grow. And he has to weigh up, okay, is it better for me to try and get sales, or is it better for me to actually build a social media presence, which will then help me get sales later down the track? Because the problem that I have with a CTA like that at the end is when I feel like I'm being sold something, I'm going to be less likely to subscribe and follow that person. I guess there's a trade-off, right? And it's ultimately up to him. Had he had already an established personal brand, or he was well known, or his business was well known, then yeah, I'd probably be a little bit more aggressive because you've already got that follower base. You've already put in the hard yards to get there. But if you're starting out early, I think you got to be a little bit more selective of when to do such a CTA like that. That being said, a small phone number in the bottom right, maybe, you know, something that's very subtle, not in your face, is probably fine. Yeah, I probably agree with you. That's just some sort of consideration you need to have when doing a CTA at the end.
Now we're going to look at an agent who takes a very different approach. And this is when Ricky and I start to differ, not on whether the content works, but on what the content is optimized for. When someone wears a 3-piece suit during a hot summer, you know they're about business, right? So let's see if it makes us want to work with him.
This is how the millionaires make 90% of their money. They don't buy the nice house. No, they don't. They buy the cheap house, renovate it and turn into this. You buy this house for 1 million, but you can buy this for 700,000. Put 100,000 into renovation. Now this house is worth the same as this house. Play smart, not hard, guys.
Yeah, I mean, 3-piece suit. Great presentation, by the way. I love the way he presents it.
Great presentation.
Very animated, big smile on his face. These little things make a huge difference. They do. If you're
100%.
Yeah, and gestures like creating kinetic movement in the frame is amazing. I love the energy. And it actually does get me fucking excited. Now I want to buy a property. So let's be a little bit more technical. So what is the actual hook in this video? This is how millionaires make 90% of their money. It is a little bit generic, a bit saturated. Because I know today we're looking at real estate content, before I saw it, I knew the context was going to be about real estate. But let's just take a step back and think if we didn't have that context, I don't know if this is going to hit as hard as we would like. So how can we make this opening frame a little bit better? So I think what I would like him would be to stand in front of and maybe you'll have to do this in the editing process. You would have a bad house and a good house. And he goes, this is how millionaires make 90% of their money. And we've already got this kind of comparison style opening frame. And it's already opening up this curiosity loop of like, okay, well, it's probably going to be about property. Why is there a shit looking house? And why is there a good looking house? And how does this relate to making 90% of their money? That's the kind of level of detail that we need on opening frames. That being said, this guy might just be charismatic enough that holds the audience's attention, because for sure I would probably sit through it anyway. So,
but are you sitting through it for the right reasons? Because for
true.
me,
That's a good point.
This video is a great example of how important ideation is. You can have the best presentation in the world. His filming is not bad, but his idea is not good. He's talking about a very generic subject. His hook is also not specific enough, because people, when they read this or hear it, they automatically think, well, isn't this a scam? Like, this is always what scam videos or business personal coaches talk about and open with. And also the value, if you do get to the point where he's giving the value is also generic. Like, it's nothing new. Okay, buy a house for 700,000 and put renovations in it for 100,000 and then sell it for 1 million. Like, that's kind of like saying, buy something for $5 and then try to sell it for 10. Like, that's essentially what it is, right? And it's not really giving us value. So I think the idea here is really off. Can he frame it in a different way, Ricky?
What do you mean frame it in a different way? Like,
so he's trying to say that focus on renovations.
Yep.
And that's going to give you more value to your property. So instead of buying something for $1 million, buy it for cheaper. Whereas he could reframe it as not the renovation aspect of trying to make more money, being like affordable suburbs. Ideation is completely different now, but now we're getting a bit more value.
I mean, once a fucking broken record, about to start again. What's the content objective of this video? Are we trying to demonstrate his personality? Are we trying to get top of sales funnel? Are we trying to get people to subscribe?
But it's business. We can assume very easily here, right? It's business. It's a business objective, and the business objective on this particular video is for him to get customers.
Well, is it a business objective or is it a personal brand? Well, what I'm trying to say is with real estate agents, right? A lot of the times you don't actually care who the real estate business is. You care about who is actually trying to buy or sell your property for you. In Australia, we have, I think it's Rain. I don't even know I couldn't even tell you the big real estate agents. I just know Ray White is one of them. I think Rain and Horn is another one. Like, I don't care about them. I care about the person who's trying to buy or sell. So in this case, I actually think, yes, it's for business, but he's trying to build a personal brand. In this case, it's Harry Truong of Vina Opera Real Estate.
But the business objective is still business. It's still conversion. So
well,
yes,
not necessarily.
he's got an emphasis on personal brand, but if you're not giving me enough value to come back and talk to you for business purposes, then it doesn't matter how energetic he is. It doesn't matter how good he looks.
Well, that's where I probably disagree. I think with personal brand, it's actually important to show what type of person you are, because sometimes people hire your services purely off personality. If you're the best in the world,
Yeah.
but you're just an absolute dick and you're just like treat people with shit, you have no respect. Doesn't matter how good you are, people aren't going to hire your services.
That's my point. If your idea isn't strong enough and the value you provide isn't good enough, even if you present yourself as nice and fun going, but you provide the most generic advice in history, buy it for $5, sell it for $10, then people are going to go, well, what's going on here?
Well, I think
why do I care?
Yeah, but once again, I talked about this many times. Value doesn't always come in the form of knowledge or how to become successful, how to make money. You and I laughed, right? Did we not laugh throughout the whole video? It was funny, right? So clearly,
Yep.
I mean, I don't know what his intention was, but to me, the intention here was that I'm going to make this video more lighthearted. I mean, look at the editing that they chose to use. If this was purely a corporate, I'm trying to target rich, serious people, I don't think this is the right editing structure or strategy. I mean, look at the stuff that they're using and the way he's presenting, particularly this part here. Like that's just a meme edit. That's trying to be fun, and it's good. So is he trying to create this personal brand of, hey, I'm actually not like these other serious poser, I'm going to come out of a Rolls Royce type of agent. I'm actually making this video. Yes, the value is not great and it's not that deep. But what I'm trying to do is I'm actually trying to show that, hey, like I could be fun. Like buying a property isn't about being serious. Doesn't need to be a fucking crazy life decision. Like I can help you through that journey in a more relatable and fun way. But I don't know. I don't know if that's their strategy that they went with. If they called me up and they said, Rick, we want consulting. Actually, this video was actually designed to try and get people to trust in our brand. I'd be like, no, this was a terrible idea. But if he called me up and was like, oh, actually, no, we were just trying to showcase Harry's presentation. Yes, we know the value wasn't there, but it was more to show off his personality. I'd be like, great, you succeeded. So it's once again, it comes that you got to think that deeply about the objective.
I just don't get how a real estate agent would waste his time with a video like this if he's not trying to improve his business brand, if he's not trying to improve his status as a real estate agent. Yes, a lot of people do what you're saying and want to put their personality on there, want to put their personal brand on there. But particularly for real estate agents, they're looking to get every edge possible to sell. And maybe I'm wrong specifically about Harry, but I think most would say we want to get customers. We want to show ourselves as the best in the business, trustworthy.
But what if you can't compete on that angle, right? What if you actually aren't the best and you don't get the best listings? You need to think of a unique competitive advantage. So
sure, but if you're selling a house, if I'm selling a house for millions of dollars and for 99.9% of people, selling a home or buying a home is the biggest financial decision they'll ever make in their lives. Is it really that much of an edge that you're fun and you're relatable and you're, outgoing? Is that really a big edge, or is it business, trust, focus?
One of our friends bought a property and said he had the worst experience trying to deal with them. He got a good price. He's kind of happy, but he said he would never use that real estate agent again, even though that they got him the price. Why? Because he was the one who was always having to follow up, trying to get their attention, trying to communicate to them. When's this going to happen? What's going to happen? That whole experience didn't sit well with him. And as a result, that real estate agent is not going to get a recurring customer. Now, I'm not saying that fun and great personality is the number one factor, but it's definitely something that plays into the part of the whole experience. Like you said, it's a very stressful and difficult decision that a lot of people need to make. And yes, money is obviously the number one important thing. Can I get a good price if I'm selling it, or can I get a cheap price if I'm buying it, right? But that's only there's still 20% of that where you got to deal with legal teams. You got to deal with admin. You got to deal with calling them up, seeing them, meeting with them. Imagine every single time you had to meet this guy and you fucking hated him. It might even impact your decision making to a point where you go, you know what? I don't give a shit about the price anymore. I just want this whole process to be done with. I'm happy to take a smaller price or lower price if you're selling, or pay a little bit more if you're buying. I think all these things do add up to the service. And if that means that 2% of your content is designed to facilitate that issue, then I don't see the big deal in it. I think the issue that you have is if 90% of your content was like this, where you're providing no value, you're doing TikTok dances, you're talking about random bullshit that has no relevance to your business, then yes, I would say that's a problem. So grand scheme, we got to zoom out a little bit and go, how much of this is actually part of their content strategy? Because that's what's important. So in summary, 2 big takeaways from this video is opening frame. I think really making sure what the context, what the value you're about to deliver to your audience is very clear. And I think in this case, standing in front of 2 homes, showing that it's going to be about property is the first thing I would say. The second thing I would say is understanding your content objectives. What is the video trying to achieve and what part of your overall content strategy it's going to take up? If you're trying to show your personality, that should probably take up no more than 5 to 10% of your entire content strategy. I think a lot of the times when it comes to real estate, you should be showing property and showing value of why your skills are better than your competitor. But if you want to throw in sometimes something a little bit more fun, a little bit more creative, people do appreciate that. And I think that can create a slight unique competitive advantage, but it shouldn't take up the bulk of your entire content strategy.
So the takeaway here isn't that serious content is better than fun content. It's that you need to be very clear on what your content is optimized for. If you're a business owner watching this thinking, I get attention, but it doesn't turn into trust, that's exactly what we help with. We help service-based professionals structure their short-form content so that it supports their business objectives. And if you want to learn more, check out the description.